Hey, what's up? Everyman here to give you Everyman's Guide to Easy Smoked Ribs. I'm showing you the simplest, most foolproof rib recipe that'll turn every man into a barbecue legend. These baby back ribs fall off the bone tender, packed with flavor, and so simple even a dude who calls himself a pitmaster after one decent brisket can do it. Let's get after it. This is everything you'll need. Baby back ribs, avocado oil, your favorite rub, and apple juice. That's it. No fancy stuff, just what works. Quick tip on the baby back rib selection. I wouldn't skimp on quality. I recommend going to a local butcher or grocery store that you know has good quality meats. All right, let's get into the first step. Grab those ribs and pat them down with paper towels. Get them nice and dry, none of that slippery nonsense. It's also good to trim off any extra fat or meat hanging off of the rack. Dry that underside too. Another side note, a widely debated topic is whether to remove the membrane on the backside. Some racks come with it removed anyway, but my take is it just depends on your preference. Next, hit them with that avocado oil. Slather it on like you mean it. It's your binder. Keeps the rub locked in. You can substitute any binder you want. Some people use butter, mustard, or other oils. Using an oil binder adds a rich undertone, while mustard brings a tangy taste to the table. Again, depends on your preference. But I recommend any binder not going to add extra sweetness to that apple juice soak. Next, the rub. Lay it on thick. Don't be shy. These ribs can handle it. Massage it in like you're prepping them for a fight. I'll link some of my go-to rubs in the description below. You can look up a recipe and create your own rub. But this guide is for the easiest ribs, so take it easy, Dad. No use in adding extra work unless you want to be super fancy. Gotta add that rub to the bone side too. Going back to the membrane removal debate, people for removing it think it gives the rub the ability to absorb better. I just like the texture and the way the rub collects underneath when you don't remove it. Let me know in the comments which way you lean on the debate. Now, fire up your smoker to 200 degrees. While it's heating, let the ribs sit there, soaking up that flavor. Let me pause real quick on the recipe steps to give you some insight on choosing the wood pellet type. If you think you have what you need on pellet selection, feel free to skip ahead. For this recipe, I like to use a hickory or a mesquite pellet, sometimes even a blend. I'll link some of my choices in the description. The type of wood you choose directly changes the taste profile. The choice of binder you use should directly correlate with your pellet choice. If you're going all in on the sweet taste, go with apple or cherry to amplify that vibe. If you're using a tangy, savory binder, hickory or pecan will match the intensity. If you're keeping it simple, pecan or an oak blend is the way to go. For this recipe, we use an apple juice soak, so I suggest going with oak if you want a light, smoky taste. I'd start there unless you're craving that big smoky punch from hickory. Now let's get back to the recipe. Once the smoker's ready, toss those ribs on the grill, meat side up. Shut the lid and let them go for 2 hours. That low and slow heat builds a bark that's crispy, smoky, and tough as nails. Exactly what we're after. While they're doing their thing, grab some heavy-duty foil and make yourself some foil boats. I'm talking sturdy, no leaks. We're adding apple juice later, and if it spills, it could lead to drier ribs. After 2 hours, pull the ribs off. They should look dark and have a somewhat crusty outer layer. Lay them in those foil boats and grab that apple juice. Pour 1.5 cups over the ribs. That juice is the secret sauce. It's gonna steam them juicy and tender. Next, you're going to wrap that foil up tight, like you're sealing a deal. As you can see here, I didn't quite seal the deal. In this case, I was in a hurry and decided to go as is with a small leak. It isn't a deal breaker, especially when you're throwing on a second rack. Take 2. This foil boat I kept tight and had no leaks. The rack will for sure be juicier than my other one. Next, it's back on the smoker. They go for another 2 hours at 200 degrees. Go do something fun like put some IKEA furniture together for the wife. Just kidding. That would take longer than 2 hours. Timer's up and it's go time. Pull those ribs off and unwrap them carefully. Watch the steam, it'll bite you. Grab a meat thermometer and check the temp. You're looking for at least 190 degrees internal. But if you hit 195 to 203, that's the sweet spot. Fall off the bone territory. Slide those ribs onto a cutting board. If you did it right, the meat's pulling away from the bone. Slice them up, nice, even cuts, and take a look. See that? Juicy, smoky perfection. Going back to the other slab, you can tell it did dry out a touch because of that apple juice leak. Keep that foil tight to avoid that. Now, before you dig in, here's some of Everyman's tips to level up next time. First, rubs and binders. If your ribs came out too sweet, check your binder. Avocado oil's neutral, but something like honey or butter could add too much sweetness to that apple juice soak. Then eyeball your rub. Was there brown sugar hiding in the mix? That'll do it. Want more bite instead? Hunt down a spicier blend. Look for cayenne or chili powder on the label. Dial it in. You're the boss here. Second, that foil boat's make or break when it comes to keeping the ribs juicy. You need a fortress, not some flimsy tin can. The main culprit of a leak could be the overlapping section of the two pieces of foil. Maybe wrap with another piece to keep the juice in. Last, review your pellet choice. That smoke flavor is the last piece of the taste combo. Sometimes it's just buy and try different pellets to see which combo you like best. That smoker bathing the smoke on those ribs is the key to that barbecue taste. If you want to get started with a great smoker, I've got a video dropping next week comparing the top 2 killer starter pellet grills. To wrap it up, this is how you make quick, easy, fall-off-the-bone ribs that'll make you the king of the backyard. Smoker at 200, a solid rub. Apple juice in the foil. It's simple and downright tasty. Even my leaky batch was a home run. Practice makes perfect, and this one's worth mastering. Drop a comment. Tell me how your ribs turned out. If you like this, there's more where it came from. For guides and tips every man should have. DIY, gaming, fitness, grilling, family, faith, and everything in between. Hit that like button and subscribe to Everyman Guides. See you in the next one.